Yeah, we're not being recorded yet, right?
Not
Just
yet.
now.
Almost.
Okay, it's 8 o'clock, we'll get started. I'll call the Whately County Redevelopment Commission, August the 12th, 2025 to order. This time we'll do roll call. Teresa Basinger,
Here.
Frank Kessler,
Present?
John Myers,
Present.
Mike Schrader,
Here.
Jill Western,
Here.
and I'm here. I think before we get to our agreements, I think we have the school corporation here.
Yeah, we have some guests and they'd like to make a presentation and I think maybe even an ask today or for something for the commission to consider. So if you guys just want to come on up.
Thank you for letting us come and present to you today. I'm Lori Ewert, Talent Development Director for the County Consolidated Schools. And I will let my partner here introduce herself.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Reef. I'm the Director of Innovation and Career and Technical Education at Whitley County Consolidated Schools.
All right, so under Mrs. Reef's leadership, we have built a tremendous career and tech ed, so CTE program, that has been recognized at the regional, state, and national level. We've been recognized for being student-centered and also for being community-driven. And in all of the presentations that we've made, we get the same question over and over, and that is, how do you get the support? How do you get the support of your community partners? How do you get the support of your business community? And how do you get the support of your local government? And our answer is always the same, and that is that we share our story and we ask for support. And so that's what we're here to do, is to kind of share our story today, let you know if you're not aware of all that's been going on for our students at Columbia City High School and beyond, and see how you can become an additional part of it if you choose. So what I'm going to direct you to in your folder first, if you would, I know you have your CTE booklet, and we'll get to that, I promise. That's really pretty and flashy. Jennifer does a great job with that. But I'm going to start, if you would, on the right-hand side of your folder with some of the press releases. You may have seen these, you may have not. I'm just going to breeze through some of them to hit some of the highlights that we've celebrated throughout the past year and a little bit beyond. So the first thing is the acquisition of the new CTE building. So through partnership with the owner of the Brady Products building, we were able to secure that for the school district, and that is being turned currently into a CTE center. One great thing about having a lot of attention drawn to our CTE programs is that it increases enrollment. And so we've had a lot of students come to us for a lot of purposes: academic pathways, athletic opportunities, things like that, but also our CTE programs. So we're currently higher than ever before at our high school right now. I believe 1242 was the number yesterday. And so that is a great issue to have, but it also causes some spacing challenges. So the acquisition of this CTE building was imperative to be able to continue to expand what we're doing. So one of the biggest things that we're thrilled with in this program, in this building, is that our students are involved in this. So our construction trades, our construction program students are working alongside the contractors to get some of this work done and get it ready for our students' building. So that's an exciting big thing. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit later. The next thing there was, I told you we were recognized at the state level. So this is us here at the Department of Education Educators Gala. We were recognized for student pathways. Like I said, Jennifer has built tremendous programs for students in different areas of interest. We have over 24 student pathways that our students can try out. So we were recognized at the state level for that, an honor to receive that award. We talked about being student-centered and community-driven. So when people come to us, we have quarterly business meetings with our partners, and when they come to us and say, hey, this is really what we need, Jennifer has a knack of making it happen. We start small and build from there. So last year we had some businesses come to us and say, you know what we really need are CDL drivers. And so Jennifer said, challenge accepted. And so she worked and got a program going. We had our pilot year last year where we had 4 students who were able to completely earn their CDL certification from the bookwork to the driving, having their license and ready to hit the workforce. Sure, go right ahead.
Just as an added, again, support of our community is I reached out to NDOT because we needed a place to do the drive portion. So initially we're thinking the whole high school parking lot, but then talking to the parks, they're like, oh, we've got things going on. I said, okay, reached out to NDOT and I said, hey, you have a lovely space there between us and Fort Wayne that I believe you use for CDL prep work. And they said, we do. I said, would you mind if my program would use that spot for the couple weeks in May? And they said, absolutely. No charge, no rigmarole of all the things. They said, we're happy to help. It helped us because it was already marked out for the CDL requirements that the kids needed to meet. And so we were able to partner with INDOT as well. So I do want to give them kudos because, again, I asked and they said, sure. So we're happy to help with that.
Yeah, we just had a call yesterday from another school district saying, how did you get that to work? And Jennifer said, I asked. So that's how we see a lot of our success. The next press release there is just celebrating our student internships and career signings. Our student internships are all student driven. If they meet with me and say, hey, this is something I'd like to try, I work really hard with our community partners to make it happen. So this upcoming semester, Jennifer and I just totaled yesterday, we have 142 kids trying things out this next fall semester. That is an astounding number for a community our size. And I'm having no problem placing them all throughout the community because our businesses have opened their doors and they're invested in what we do, giving these students the opportunity to find things that they like or find things that they don't like. We see both of those as a win, so just helping them explore. Welding has been a strong program for us from the start. So that next press release there is just celebrating our ongoing 100% pass rate for our students earning their AWS certifications. I have businesses calling me every spring saying, when do you have certified welders graduating? And how can I get them in my doors? So these students have multiple job offers when they graduate, and it's a great way to build that talent pipeline for our community. The next one there is just our college and career fair. So yes, we support the trades, we support those things. We also support college as a way to get to your career goals as well. So we host a huge college and career fair in conjunction with our school counselors. We invite Whitco and Busco students to attend that as well. We generally have around 50 colleges attend and around 50 businesses attend, just to open the students' eyes to opportunities. There's our CDL program there as well that you can see. Jennifer has received a lot of attention for that program because it's kind of unheard of at the high school level. She had to play around, you know, their 18th birthday and all that good stuff, but it was a huge success. The next was the Golden Shovel Competition. We had a group of students interested in heavy highway and civil construction. And so Jennifer once again said, great, let's build a pathway. Let's see what we can do. So we started small. We had 3 students in that pathway. We worked with area employers to make that happen. Partnered with Milestone for the state competition because Jennifer's always up for a challenge. And they came home with the trophy. So it was fantastic. That has opened the doors to a lot of other opportunities for those students as far as they received a full scholarship for train and crane certification. Great opportunities, one leads to another. But just because of that out-of-the-box thinking and willingness to grow. Our auto program out at City Auto Mall was another thing we love to celebrate. That came out of our business partnerships. Casey Shirey came to us and said, what do we have to do to get an automotive program in Whitley County? And Jennifer, in her great way, said, well, build one. And he goes, okay. And so we have a lab out at City Auto. They supply everything for us, from the tools to the lifts to the automobiles to work on to the classroom space for our instructor to teach. We were responsible for hiring an instructor, and Jennifer has a knack of getting amazing instructors on board with us, and so that program is thriving. We've added an additional section this year because the interest is continuing to grow. Fire has probably been one of our longest standing programs, and that continues to thrive. We are the pipeline for our volunteer fire departments throughout the county, which is amazing. Zach Romsire is our instructor and gets those students hands-on, gets them certified, Fire 1, Fire 2, Hazmat, all of the certifications, and then we supply that pipeline to our volunteer departments, as well as several paid positions. Our students graduate and choose to pursue that fire. All right, so none of this would be possible without our community support. Do you want to talk a little bit about the collaboration between the school districts?
Absolutely. So we, as of recently, really looked at how can we be efficient, have purposeful redundancy, because at times you do need it, and how can we really look at our community as a whole and look at Whitley County as a whole. So we came together with Chair Busco and Whitco and said, okay, what can we do? So all 3 districts came together, and this has been, I would say, a long time coming. I've seen the ebbs and flows of this conversation over probably the last 10 years. So really glad to bring it to fruition. So this school year will be the first year that we are partnering with Whitco and Cherubusco formally. We partnered with Busco last year for just a few students, again, starting small, to then really say, what can we do collaboratively? So for example, Whitco has an amazing early childhood program. I've been trying to start one for years, but I only had 2 or 3 kids in it, never could really get it to fly. They have one already going. Again, wonderful opportunity there. They already have one in existence. Let's support our children. Let's support their career interests and work with Whitco there. They're looking at us because we have automotive. Our automotive program is very unique. We take it a step further than rotating tires and changing oil. These kids are being trained to be diagnostic technicians. So in the world of computers and all that our vehicles are anymore, that's really the drive of where we need to go. So I make sure to tell those kids that up front. If you're looking to wrench on your truck coming in, this isn't what this program is. It's really the diagnostic pieces. And they're like, okay. As Lori said, we had to add a section to that program. So looking at all the different things that we do collectively together well, and then playing off of each other's strengths. Now, will I say we both offer welding as far as Whitco and Columbia City? Absolutely. There's enough drive and enough interest for the welders that we need to have too. So therefore, we want to make sure that we have that redundancy. But really taking that business-minded customer service thought process in mind, how do we support all of Whitley County? Because again, we want kids to be educated and we want them to stay here. We want them to grow their own business. We want them to be fantastic employees, whatever the case may be, but we want them to thrive in Whitley County. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. So we're very excited. We start that this week. We all start a couple different days differently as far as our start of school, but come next Monday, August 18th, all the kids will be in session at their respective schools for part of their day. They do go back to their home school, so they are still athletes at their home school, they're still academics at their home school, and they just come to us for their part of the day to be able to do those programs.
All right, so a lot of this got started in the old high school, but the transition to the new high school building really let this flourish and grow. So the last page on your right-hand side, we are very grateful for the contribution of RDC in the past as far as the structure of the high school, building that comprehensive model. And so we just kind of wanted to do an overview there of how your contributions in the past were used to fund the new high school. So we worked with our business department and they gave us all of this information. We tried to make it pretty there for you to see exactly how all of the money was allocated and spent based off of the contributions that you guys provided in the 17-18 year that then applied to the building of the new high school. Okay.
And as an add-on to that, keep in mind when we designed the high school, I was in a different role at that time, but the purpose behind the design of the high school was how do you bring career and tech ed into the building? All of us were in school a while ago, and tech stuff was kind of like over there. You went to the shop, or you went to here. It was never truly integrated. We wanted to change that, and I would say in the state of Indiana, we are probably the only school that had that thought process in mind, in the sense of how do we get kids to apply the information they're learning academically to a possible career and future plan for what their career is going to be. So how do we dovetail all those things? As a former math teacher, it's really hard to teach Algebra 2 to kids who could really care less about Algebra 2. My children being 2 of those children. So with that in mind, you have those opportunities for teachers to collaborate. You have those opportunities for kids to truly see how to apply the information they're learning. Kids are different. They're not the sit and gets anymore. If you think you can sit there, tell a kid something, and he's just gonna go off and toddle off and do what you tell him, that isn't real. They wanna know how it applies, they wanna know how to value it, they wanna feel valued. So we have to make sure that our environment supports that as well. So part of your work and all the things that you did to support us were to be able to develop that, truly to bring it to fruition, and then to take us to the space that we are now, where we are looked at as one of probably the best CTE programs in the state. I do get the phone calls, Lori gets the phone calls, because there's no one else in the state, even their biggest employers, talk to Fort Wayne Community. They don't have 500 business partners that are taking their kids. We do. So those are opportunities that we take very seriously. We work very hard to maintain them, which is why we have those quarterly breakfasts. You guys are, of course, welcome to attend. We do feed you, because we know food is important.
Well, students feed you. We have them.
Students,
all
yeah,
our
we don't do
ICCLA
it.
students.
In that sense, but because of your support in the past to be able to build the building, to lead the vision, we continue to be here. So we thank you for that. So in your packet, you do have a CTE booklet. That is one of my I like marketing stuff. You know, you never think that I was a math teacher by trade. But anywho, in that CTE booklet, it is just a true representation of the different opportunities that we have. If you ever see a space where it says NA, that means that's where Jennifer's focusing her attention because she needs to fill that in. It's not where she wants to be just now. The beginning part of it talks about, on the left side, we have the graduation requirements. Please note that those are for the class, the sophomores, juniors, and seniors. The state did change the high school graduation requirements. Those are in the back of the book if you have younger pups or you're interested in seeing what those look like for freshmen and below. But in there, you see high school structure, you see our commitment to academies that Mr. Mullen and the high school admin are working towards. We take this from a K-12 perspective. So we start these conversations in the middle school. We have different things at the elementary level as well, which we won't get into today. But really getting kids to think about what they would like to do, but who they are. You know, don't ask me what kind of career I want to be in 7th grade. That's crazy. No one's looking to pigeonhole you. No one's looking for you to have that thought process. What we are asking you is, how do you learn? How do you like to experience things? Are you a doer? Are you a thinker? Are you a creator? All those different pieces play into possible careers that you may want to pursue after high school. So we talk about all that. And then the pages beyond talk about the different pathways that we have. So pathways consist of 3 classes that students take at the high school in a multitude of configurations. We also built those because some students are academically inclined and they're like, I want to bust through this as quick as I can. There are other students who do not like the thought process of high school, and maybe the light bulb doesn't turn on until a little later in their high school career, and they still want to have a pathway, but they're kind of looking at something that they can condense into 1 year. So we do have programs that offer that opportunity as well. So again, making sure we're reaching all students, no matter who. We truly believe CTE is for all, so we want to make sure that we have those opportunities. You also note in there that we also work with our local colleges, Ivy Tech and Vincennes being the 2 predominant ones in the CTE land to be able to offer college credits for students, as well as then industry recognized certifications. At those business breakfasts, we ask the businesses, what do you value? What do you want the kids to see? How can we help you? And so they are very candid with us. They're like, you need to do this, you need to do this. Okay, some things we say, let's talk about that. Other things we say, absolutely, and we work to do that. The benefit of our program as well is that I hire industry professionals in most, if not all of these programs. So when you say, Jennifer, hire an automotive instructor, I hire a guy that's still working his summers at his automotive employer because that's what he does. So he is an automotive person, that's his world, and he brings that into the classroom. Jennifer, when you hire a fire and rescue teacher, you're hiring the guy that's still working 2 days, or 1 day on, 2 days off over in Warsaw. And he's also working here as our local, one of our chiefs here in our local volunteer districts. So you bring that to the table, and that also raises the stakes to our programs because kids value that information, they value those connections, they value that relationship. And then also in your folder, you have a handout that is kind of a quick snapshot. I like data. Data is my friend. In the sense of what it is. So we like to show you really quick as a snapshot what we have to offer and how we make sure to work with our local employers, support our students, and make sure that they're best positioned for success. As you notice, the one I like to hit is there's 14 nationally recognized career clusters. That's that's a national thought process. There's career clusters. Every one of the national 14 career clusters are represented at Columbia City High School. I don't know that you can find another school that can do that. So we want to make sure that we reach and give kids all the options we possibly can. And kudos to Lori when you see that 450% increase in work-based learning placement. That is all her. So there is no way that we could be in the position that we're in without Whitley County specifically saying we need to focus on this. We hire Lori, and Lori does what Lori does best, and she has those conversations with all of you. We are recognized in that position. The state with the new graduation requirements is pushing other districts to now get into that game. So competition at its best, but we were at the table first. And that speaks to a lot of our employers because they do have other schools reaching out, but we have positioned ourselves in a great place to be the ones that they call first. And that's kudos to her work as well. And again, those 500 plus industry partners and 31,000 plus hours of kids in the workplace over the course of last spring. That that was just last spring, so January to May, that's how many hours were accrued by students. So that helps them figure out whether this is a career they'd like to do, or one that they say, it's a great try, let's try something else. And again, no cost and no loss of time to them.
All right, so goals moving forward. You should have a little floor plan sheet in your folder as well on the left-hand side. That is that new CTE building, the Brady building. I'm gonna let Jennifer talk a little bit more about that because she is much more involved in that aspect of it. And then we'll talk about some of our asks going forward.
So as Lori mentioned, we worked with the owner of Braden Products to purchase that building. He was also very generous in donating, offsetting the cost. The original asking price was $650,000. We purchased it for $500,000 and he did a donation of the $150,000. So we're very excited and happy. He's been in touch with me since purchase and said, when can I get back in? I want to see what you're doing. It's like, Judy, I'll get you in all the time. It's all good. So I'm very excited about that. So then worked with the teachers, worked with the architects, worked with our business office. What can we do with this building? And ultimately, as Lori mentioned as well, I am adamant that the contractors that we use work alongside our kids to build this building. There's nothing more that you can't say a community can't get support and get behind when you see your son, nephew, friend, whatever, building the parts of the building. We're also working really hard that the infrastructure to this building also becomes a teaching opportunity. So we have a space for our mechanicals to be, we want the mechanicals to be a part of the instruction. So as they're doing different conversations and they talk HVAC, let's go look at what HVAC looks like. Let's go look at the piping. Let's go look at these different pieces. And again, make the building itself an opportunity to teach as much as the kids are learning within the building itself.
I think one perfect example of that is the HVAC units that they're talking about. So FCI is working with us on this design. And so instead of putting them on the roof, as most places do to get them out of the way, to make them so they're not accessible, we want them accessible. And so they're gonna end up building a platform and putting these on ground level because we can't have all of the students parading on the roof to check out all of the HVAC systems as well. So it's gonna be accessible by students, it's gonna be at the ground level where we can use that as a teachable moment. They talked about the mechanical room having a glass wall so that they can see, they can go in, but they can use it as a teachable moment. So they're being very deliberate with those things to make sure that the building in itself is a learning tool.
And the programs that you see and that we have intentions of moving into this program are the welding lab, construction trades, our fire and rescue, criminal justice, and EMT. So major support to the public service realm as far as that's concerned. It also gives us space. The piece that the high school doesn't offer us right now is space. So we bought a fire truck. If you didn't know that, Columbia Township was really gracious and sold us a fire truck for $1. So I have a beautiful fire truck. I have nowhere to put the fire truck. So right now, Jefferson Township has been very nice in the wintertime by housing my truck. Right now it's out at the high school. But we want to be able to store it appropriately and maintain it because it was a wonderful gift. This will give us that opportunity. We want to be able to truly teach EMT by bringing in an EMT box and really talking to the kids about when you're in an EMT situation, what that looks like. I didn't know, but I learned that in every ambulance, everything is in the same spot. So that no matter what ambulance you go into as an EMT, you know where everything is and it becomes muscle memory. We need to teach that. So the same concepts as far as that's concerned. In our criminal justice, we do offer the opportunity, and our kids have been successful, for dispatch training. Not easy to do dispatch training just sitting at a desk with your laptop. So we would like to create a dispatch station where kids can truly see what it's like to see in dispatch. Because if I'm in the world of criminal justice and I really want to be a police officer, there is no career that I can do between 18 and 21. That's a police officer. I can be a jailer, and I can do dispatch. Now I may be able to do some other pieces, probation, things like that, that I'm not truly familiar, so I don't want to speak incorrectly about. But if I want to keep a kid involved in criminal justice, I need to hook them at 18 and keep them until 21 before they can go to the police academy. Here's a way for us to do that. So we want to make sure that we talk about that. Construction, we take more, again, this is a program WITCO offers as well. We take more of a heavy highway civil construction view of construction, where WITCO does more residential. So theirs is called vertical construction, mine is horizontal. Again, kids can do both. So my hope is kids will do ours 1 year, go to maybe WITCO the next, and really then decide what they want to do in construction. With that in mind, we need to pour concrete. We need to dig holes with excavators. We need to move dirt with skid loaders. we need to do those pieces. This space will give us that opportunity to do that. And then I think I talked about EMT already. I think I've hit all of that. Welding just becomes, I can talk welding some more, but welding is welding. The big piece with welding is we currently have 10 welding bays at the current high school. Those are staying because there are kids that need that introductory look at welding, so that will stay.
A lot of our agriculture classes have welding components, and so we don't want to remove that from the high school. But the students that do the full welding pathway need more exposure.
Yes, and we need more space to be able to include more students involved in that. So that's the piece that you see there. Again, it's on Radio Road. We made sure it's as close to the high school campus as we possibly could be. Being, of course, mindful of the taxpayer dollars. If we wanted to build this building on our campus, we were looking at, it was a little bit bigger than this, but we were looking at 18 million. And we said that's not the most prudent thought process for what we want to do. So this is our next step as far as that's concerned. We're thankful that the trail's been completed, so kids at that point in time, if they wish to walk between buildings, are going to be able to do so. Things along those lines. So, thank you.
All right, the last page you have there is our overall project and our ask for your support and involvement at whatever level you would like to. At the top, you see the building purchase that Jennifer talked about already. Overall, we're looking at an $8 million project for facilities upgrades to make it student inhabitable. It's not quite there right now. So to make sure that it's educationally safe and ready for the student programs, we're looking at an $8 million project. And that is facilities and structure only. That is not program equipment. That's just to get the building up to the level it needs to be. So we broke it down there so you can see some of the general expenses. That $2.7 million listed there, that is our common meeting space. There's going to be a large meeting room out in the middle. That's also where they will do some of the activities for the EMT program, where they will do some of the activities for the criminal justice program. So that common space in the middle, conference rooms, bathrooms, mechanical rooms, all of those types of things total that $2.7 million, the entryway, the outdoor facade, all of those things. Then if we broke it down program specific, the welding with the ventilation and the tank storage and everything required for that program, we're looking at a $1.5 million facility upgrade, and then an additional $350,000 for the welding equipment itself, safety gear, welders, those things. We are grateful for Steel Dynamics donates all of our steel for all of our welding, and so they bring truckloads of metal for us, so we don't have that expense in the program, which is fantastic. But just for the equipment itself, we're looking at $350,000 for that program. The construction bay is at $1.1 million. That includes the overhead doors we're going to need to install for some of this equipment and the space that they will need for their lab space. And then materials and equipment, we're looking at $150,000 to get that program up and going right now. We have a lot of materials currently that they're utilizing for the program, but to be able to continue to expand, we're looking at that $150,000. Criminal justice, to get that space renovated, to put the walls up, because right now that building is just wide open. We're looking at $800,000 for the criminal justice space with the HVAC and the walls and everything in that designated area. Materials being $100,000 for that program. Fire and rescue, we're looking at $1.1 million. Again, overhead doors are needed for that section to be able to put the fire truck inside. Those materials that we need. There is an upstairs part to the fire training room so that they can do ladder training and they can do all of those important skills that we need our firefighters to have. So that's $1.1 million for that area. Materials and equipment for that program, we're looking at $125,000. And then the EMT program, $800,000 for the Bay Area, and then $75,000 in material and equipment. So that's kind of the overall project budget that we're working on right now. Our goal is to have this open during the 26-27 school year for these programs. There is a little building out back behind the Braden building, if you're familiar with that property. That building, they have been working on it. We hope to have our construction program housed there yet this fall, and so that those students can then be participating in the renovation of the rest of the building.
And ultimately, as we continue to move forward, we're looking at building renovation, as Lori talked about, equipment. None of these programs are cheap. They all require high dollar equipment. I know Mr. Rumsire and I talk daily. in regards to just simply fire and rescue, because that's one that's just a very expensive program. So we want to talk about that. Our annual materials are things that we continue as a district to support with the work that we do. Thankfully, Dr. McDermott and the school board support the work that we do with that and provide those materials and dollars. And then we continue to work on our ongoing community support. So everything that we can do as new businesses come in or new families come in, different things along those lines, we continue to open our doors and welcome people to be able to help in any way that we can.
What questions do you have?
I just have a comment to make. I'm with the Columbia Township Fire Department, and we've probably taken 6 kids or more out of there, and plus EMTs, EMS girls and boys that have taken the course, and it has helped our department immensely. We were short down to 16 firefighters at one time. We're now up to 32, 33. So it's been a positive thing for the fire departments and even in the whole county. It's been a good thing, and we're appreciative of that.
Many counties replicate what we do. Huntington has
Yeah,
replicated it recently.
Good.
Angola has replicated it. So, yes.
Yeah, we've had several of those people that's been through it have already taken full-time jobs out like in Fort Wayne, Allen County. So it's been good.
Thank you to hear that. Thank you.
How much do you have in other commitments so far, or is this just kind of starting right now?
We're just getting started right now. Now, that being said, the school district, so CTE is revenue generating. Without getting too much in the weeds, we receive dollars, and you're much more well versed in this, with our Form 38 dollars. So students that participate in programs do generate some funding for the school. Now, we all know it's not nearly enough to pay for
Sure.
the programs, but our business office has very wisely invested money over the years, and so I believe they invested $3.5 million, and that has been continuing to grow a little bit. So we do have that nest egg to get started, but we're just starting the grant writing process, and we just got numbers this week from our contractors and things. So we're just starting the fundraising right now. We have a nest egg to get started with, but we are just starting the fundraising and grant writing now.
When's the next CTE breakfast, or do you have it scheduled yet?
It's October, but we don't have the exact date
Okay.
yet. Yeah, we kick them off in October every year, so that's on our to-do list this week, is to get all those dates released.
We will also ask for, and at some of those breakfasts, we'll make it known that if people wish to contribute, you know, for example, in the past, when we did the high school, we said if you wanted to sponsor a welding bay, for example, it's this. So for example, if you want to do a welding bay, 15,000. That buys everything. Happy to put your name on it, happy to recognize you, all the different things. We've talked about creating a donor wall in this building as well, that if those come into play, then we'll definitely be recognizing those people and those organizations if they're able to do so.
Yeah, I guess I'd be interested in maybe attending if you've.
Absolutely. I
Once you
can add
get
all of
set.
you to my email list. You'll be tired of getting emails back.
I didn't say I wanted to
Yeah,
do
John, I heard it.
Like,
I
I have
heard
witnesses
it,
here,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
John's more interested in the eating part of it.
Teresa gets them all the time, so she knows she's welcome
I probably
anytime.
need to come.
You are welcome
again.
anytime, but I totally understand that. I send out more emails than you could probably humanly attend, and that's perfectly fine. So I'm always sending out invitations for mock interviews and guest speakers and panelists and all of those types of things. So you're welcome to delete anytime and attend anytime, your choice.
And we do, with those breakfasts, we repeat them. So for example, the one in October is really focused with the employers that are manufacturing, engineering, and technology driven. The one that we do in November is health and human services, and the one in December is business, arts, and communication. So we try and kind of have a focus group at each one of those. If I were to tell you to come to any, our manufacturers are probably the most interactive, the most solid, well-attended meetings. So the one in October is usually the one that I would always recommend coming.
And then February. February, we bring everybody together, all 3 groups together, and students share their stories. So that's always my favorite one. Last year we did an all call out to students. I said, is there anybody who would like to speak in front of 300 to 400 business people and share your CTE success story? Hoping we got like 4 or 5. We had 29 students.
And it
And
ran a
you
lot
better
longer
believe
than I
we
thought.
let them all speak. It was great. They are so excited about what they're doing and so proud of what they're doing, and it's neat to hear from their perspectives.
And their parents sometimes attend because sometimes this is
I cry every
Yeah.
February. It's amazing to hear.
and this
them
can
say.
be a generational, life-changing, altering opportunity for families. And I think that's the part that maybe we don't take into consideration is the fact that, for example, cosmetology. That program costs the district $3,000. We don't charge the kids a dime. But for some of those kids to be able to then do that opportunity while still in high school, to then be able to make a wage as soon as they graduate, if not maybe even a little bit before, can change that whole dynamic of what that family structure looks like. So we have an awesome opportunity with the programs that we offer to be able to do that.
And a lot of times these programs are what keeps some students in school. They get them to that graduation line because they have a vested interest in this. English may not be their thing. Math may not be their thing. It's funny that some of the students are like, I hated math, but I didn't realize how much math you use in construction, you know, and so now they're starting to make sense. But a lot of times these programs and the connections to their instructors are what get them to that graduation line. So, time well spent.
Commission have anything else?
I'm just really impressed with all of it. I know I say it every time you guys come, but I wish they had this when I was in high school. Yeah, I'm really impressed with you guys. You know, the day you plant the seed isn't the day that you get the fruit. So obviously, this is a lot of seeds planted a while ago. So, and as you said, you know, it can be life-changing for some of these families. And these kids are gonna, you know, hopefully stay in the community, be good people, be tax-paying Lily County citizens. So, yeah, I think it's amazing. Proud of you guys.
Yeah, it really is. Got a grandson's going through it right now, and he just loves it. And I think without that, it has struggled. He would have struggled in school, but since he's taken this over so well, that I think he's going to turn out to be all right.
It lights that spark a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, he might turn out better than his grandfather. He's going to have to work on it. Well, I think this gives the commission something to think about. We'll toss it around, we'll talk, and then we can get with you.
Absolutely. Our contact information I know is on the data sheet there, but you can reach out to us at any time if you have additional questions or need any additional information. We just appreciate your consideration.
We may have some questions as we move forward, and if so, we can get a hold of you and have you come back in.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on. The agreement with Whately County Historical Society and Union Township Fire Department.
Yeah, so the agreement with the Union Township Fire Department we've been talking about for a while. And one thing before the meeting, I asked Brett to, when we send this out, we'll use colored exhibits a little bit clearer to see which building's what. But this is the exact same it's been since John asked that we had the insurance language that we did a while ago, that they have to provide us with a proof of insurance acceptable to the department, to the RDC, in its commercially reasonable discretion. So took that agreement, and the Historical Society agreement's very similar. It's just they're doing removal instead of the training, and they're removing the barn and its contents if they want. I guess we've told them all along, take whatever you want. So it just says they can remove the barn and all its contents and release us from liability, similar to what happens in the training. So I can answer any questions about those.
Andy, I noticed neither one, they both have the cancellation
Yes.
clause, but neither one has a specific timeline.
Yeah, I mean, I guess neither of those have given us a timeline of which they're going to do this, so I thought it'd be best to put it in your discretion. If, you know, hey, you're taking too long, please get this done in the next 60 days or we're going to end this. So it kind of gives the Redevelopment Commission the authority and the power to control that. I know that you're not in a huge hurry, but I think we asked, specifically the Historical Society, they didn't know exactly when they were going to do it. So I didn't want to put arbitrary constraints on them, but also give you the protection of letting them know, hey, this is taking too long, let's get this wrapped up, or we're going to end this thing.
Yeah, and I would say, Frank, that maybe that's a better approach than putting a specific date on it, just because we're not in any hurry right now, but Dale might come in with somebody and say, hey, you know, we're interested in this property and, you know, we need this gone in 60 days, and so gives us flexibility to impose that on somebody if we're gonna go in and bulldoze it all.
I think the one with the fire department, I think their permit from the states in 1 year.
He's
Okay.
got a limit to it.
So I don't know if we need to put that in there or just let it go like,
I mean, I don't think we do. I mean, this is the most flexible for the redevelopment commission. I mean, if they could come back and say, well, no, we need you to give us a year to do this, and we could agree or not agree. But I think, as written, this is what's best for the redevelopment commission, at least.
I agree.
we need to make a motion on this?
Yeah, to approve these agreements, yes.
So separate,
You can approve them together if you want.
okay, I'll make a motion that we approve both of the release and liability waivers for the Union Township Fire Department of Whitley County, Inc., and the Whitley County Historical Society, Inc., as presented.
Second the motion, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
we got a first and a second. Any further discussion on the liability waiver? If not, all them in favor, raise your right hand. All them opposed, the same. Let us show that it passed.
Kim, if you don't mind, because I talked to you before the meeting, I need to take off. That's
Yeah,
all right?
that's
Yeah,
fine.
okay.
Thanks, Andy.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, moving ahead, project updates. Project Freedom. Nathan, Brent, anything on that?
No, I think these were.
Dale?
Just one thing, I've kind of fired the one appraiser we keep waiting on, and I found a different one for the triangle lot out there, so hopefully we'll get the second appraisal. And I can't remember if I gave a report on this. I did talk to whoever did the first appraisal, and they didn't really, I thought it came in too low, and they were looking at it more as industrial property that fit the rest of the land. And I reminded them that we're trying to get an option on the property for somebody who's gonna try to duplicate it somewhere else in the county, so that their number was pretty low. Again, we don't have to pay, we can always pay more than the average of the two appraisals, but I don't see how, if I was the landowner, I wouldn't agree at all with that first appraisal. So hopefully the second person might see it more as a fact that this person's trying to duplicate what he has somewhere else in the county.
You don't have a time limit when he might show up? The second, you getting the second one?
Yeah, hopefully they're gonna get started on it next week.
Okay. Okay. And I have a question, on the sign, there's a sign on that property, a yard, or a road sign. They have it for a 1 year lease, or,
What was it, 3 years?
I don't remember what that agreement was. One of them was done, right?
Yeah.
There were two signs.
There were
One
two.
was done. One, I think, had 3 years, so we're getting close to being 2 now, I believe.
well, I think we ought to work towards maybe getting something printed out there, get something on a sign to help advertise that piece of property.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, especially because the Builders Contractors Association of Northeast Indiana gave the EDC a small grant to help out there. And one of the things I said was we would market that to try and get activity out there for the members of the BCA. So I agree
Good.
about getting a sign out there.
We've got quote on one. We've gotten one quote. It's because I didn't get the second quote. I'll have those for the next meeting.
Okay. Anything else on the Freedom? Okay, we'll move on to Overdeer Park road design.
No progress on that one, no.
Okay. 100 South,
I was able to connect with Surf Broadband, and they have no facilities out there, so that's really the only update I have on that so far. And we are getting it shipped soon.
Yes. So Highway Department gave me a price. If you want to approve the amount, they'll get us a more formal invoice, but the chip seal for that segment's $15,000. So you had requested to know how much it would be. So I don't know whether that's a full reimbursement or what you're thinking is there, but that's what it was.
Was that from 30 to,
Yeah, from 30 to 300.
300
So
in
basically to get a consistent surface where all the sewer lines have been, the triad trucks have torn up and so on. So, and keeping in mind that it's going to only be a year or so before it completely gets reconstructed. So,
Well, that road's pretty bad.
is it?
yeah.
We'll have something done to it. Brad, you got any comments on that? No. Yeah.
Do you think it's worth that, Brad, the 15,000? To save what's there, or?
I think, I'd have to check with their schedule, but they may have already done it, and so, I guess it's just a matter of, do we wanna compensate highway department for it?
I do have a German, we can come, I'll interrupt. The Rogers Building, their lease, we thought they had somebody, they have not signed that lease yet, so there's not somebody in there. I have a German company looking at it next week. It'd be nice to if they complain about 100, it's like, well, redevelopment's getting ready to fix the road.
What would the commission like to do on that? Want to wait, see, or?
It's 15,000.
Yeah, that's what Ryan had quoted.
I think it would make sense to reimburse the highway department.
Unless they've done it already. And then,
I still think we should reimburse
I
the
know,
highway
I know.
department.
Talk like a true commissioner.
It's expensive, Kim, you know that.
Yeah. Since that's going to be totally redone in a year.
Maybe hold off and do something to help them with that.
Could we, I mean, I know we're never sure if we're gonna have another meeting, later in the month, but could we just kick it out for 2 weeks and get a little more information?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Kim, to help with a more permanent fixing of it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess some of my thoughts was we asked them to chip seal it because of conversations in this commission about residents and businesses wanting it. So I think part of the understanding was that there would be at least some help because of the request came out of this room. So just
Yeah. It also means that if we chip seal it this year, depending on construction costs and timing, it allows us to delay the full reconstruction a little bit. If there's additional work being done at the Rogers property, perhaps we allow construction traffic to beat up the chip seal before we go forward with full reconstruction. So it buys us some time.
NIPSCO will have to relocate some gas lines, I think.
As part of the full,
Part of this.
yeah.
Wait, maybe that wasn't NIPSCO. It might have been Brightspeed, which is better than gas lines, but still.
So when you do the reconstruction on 100 South, is that gonna be ground up and then leveled off and asphalted, or do you know?
Right now, the plan is to dig up almost 2 feet of the road, keep as much useful material as you can, dispose of the rest, and then rebuild it with 14 inches of gravel and 6 inches of asphalt.
Okay.
So it's complete reconstruction.
Good. All right, good.
Is this something that the, horizontal construction program can help out with?
I would imagine some of their contractors they work with, absolutely.
Yeah, that would have to be something we write into the contract and put out to bid.
Take some of the vertical out of it.
I have tried to do that as much as possible while reducing the impacts of driveways. Which is,
Well, what do you think we should do today? If you could tell us all what to do.
I guess that's if we can guarantee that we can reconstruct it at the beginning of next summer, then perhaps waiting till then would be appropriate. That's if the highway department hasn't already chip sealed it, because they're out there sealing now, so. If they have already done it, then I would encourage, compensating them. If not
Wait a
full
couple
amount,
weeks.
then,
Maybe
See
there's
what
a middle
happens.
road here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, John?
Well, again, like Mike just said, maybe wait a couple weeks, check and see what's been done. I haven't driven out there in a while, so maybe.
I mean, the main reason that it's torn up is road cuts that we had requested, right?
Yeah,
That's what they're fixing?
part of the sewer project as well as just, it was in bad condition before we started the sewer project.
I have no problem reimbursing them. I mean, we pay almost the same amount for a vacant building every month for almost 2 years.
I'd like to get up a couple of weeks and then make a decision at the next meeting. That'd be my thoughts on it. That way we got a chance to go back out and look at it. He'll know by then what's going on.
I did text Ryan, and hopefully he gets back to me shortly.
Okay.
Well, why don't we move on, and maybe in the meanwhile, we'll get an answer from Brad, what's gonna happen. Rogers Market,
Yeah, as I said, well, they have somebody they're working with that have not signed the lease, and we're gonna show the building Tuesday morning to somebody else. In talking with John, and by the way, I didn't promise him anything. He said if they get that building leased, their thoughts are to build another one out there on the site. But in no way did I talk about covering any expenses with a monthly lease.
okay. Larwill,
Yeah, I think maybe I told you, Kim, that I ran into Lori Kreider, and she said that Mike was busy hauling grain, and so not to expect a call back from him.
okay.
But I'll bump him again.
There is a property for sale, on, I don't know, between the Main Street and where Old Trail veers off State Road 5. It's got the cell tower on it, it's right next to the lift station, so it's really rolling, not a great property. We actually had somebody interested in that for, you weren't here, shoot, I think storage units. Which as far as things go, it's not a really high use, but given the configuration of the land, it may be a decent use. So people are looking at Larwill.
Yeah, I drive by that a lot, and it's kind of swampy, and you've got the tower there and everything, so I think if anybody's interested in doing anything, it's probably something we want to encourage.
Yeah.
Because less we're gonna, I don't know, put another Larwill Lake 2 in or something. I don't think there's probably a lot of value there.
We'll move on to US 30.
We do have, not related to US 30 directly, but sort of related. I was made aware yesterday that we have a business that is looking at the vacant lot just east of Pages Crossing, so the triangle formed by Business 30, US 30, and Pages Crossing, that's been for sale for years, and we've had people tell us it's been overpriced and so on. So someone has actually got that under contract right now. I can't really say who at this point. It is somewhat confidential still, but it's a highway-related business. So we have yet to actually meet with them. That will be one of the points of conversation, is you do know what's happening with US 30 here, and 300 East will probably not be a full intersection. We had that conversation with Racetrack. They said, yes, we know, we can make it work. We'll see whether this company does the same thing. But so heads up that's that's a thing that's out there now.
I can't remember if I told this board or not, but I had a meeting with Allen County and DLZ about their engineering study for grants on Yellow River Road, Butt Road, and County Line / 800 East. It's just, right now, it's just an engineering study to see recommended alternatives for pursuing federal grant dollars. To upgrade those roads to, I think, minor collector from where they're at now. So they had, I think, 12-foot lanes and 4-foot shoulders consistent throughout, and it'll include the roundabouts at the intersections. So, I did ask that they include the crossing of the railroad there on 800 East as part of the study, both improving the at-grade crossing and also building a bridge over the crossing. Yeah. Which, if we're gonna have to, based on the soils report, they said excavate out all the peat that is there in order to build a new road on top of it. And the boring stopped at 10 feet, and it was still peat to the bottom of the 10 feet. So we'd have to do more borings to see how deep the peat actually goes, or just drive piles, which might be cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay. Dale, any walkthroughs or anything you got scheduled?
I don't have anything scheduled. If we can go through the Braden building, but no, I don't have anything scheduled. I will give on a miscellaneous update. The Jackson Oil rezoning didn't go through, which
That's good.
I'm actually okay with, for sure. And I've talked to the broker of the Hypertech building, and it looks like they've already got somebody else looking at it. That building is really good, priced right, the right square footage, because it is bigger than the Rogers building, and it is cheaper, and it has, a lot of people have had interest in it. The same German company that's looking at the Rogers building is more interested in that, but I think that building will already be leased in the next couple of days.
And-
I know you're just kind of, it was just kind of an off-the-cuff comment, but actually, I'd be interested in looking at the Braden building. It's been a few years since I've been
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, I would do.
So maybe if we're
Okay.
gonna, I mean, if anybody else is interested, at least
Yeah.
Mike and I.
I'd like to see it.
Yep.
And I'll chime in too, it is in the Columbia City, one of Columbia City's TIF districts, so maybe getting their RDC involved too, and a joint tour might be useful.
Okay. Miscellaneous matters.
We have, Brent, what's the special exception that we've got pending at the RV storage place?
There's a special exception across from the RV center that was a storage facility for trailers and RVs, is being sold. So the new property owner needs to get a special exception to allow for outdoor storage of the trailers and whatnot. So basically the same use, only new ownership, so they have to get reapproved to do what they were doing.
And
It's gonna be more FEMA trailers than actual RVs.
and a larger area as well.
Mhm.
So they'll put in fences and stuff, so it'll be a bit more prominent along Lincoln Way there. Literally across the road from that, Thrills RV owns the property east of Bart's, yes. And they met with me last week, or their architect met with me last week to discuss their plans. What they're planning on doing is basically just taking what they have, they're the smaller of the two RV places, and just moving it eastward. So roughly the same size facility, office, maintenance bays, bit of a customer area and so on. And then the rest of the property, not the rest of the property, approximately half the property would be show display area. And then the other half would be set up for a different use. Right now, they're looking at storage as well, mini warehouses as well, but they're not completely settled on that. They know they just don't need the full, I think it's 15 acres for their RV display area, so they're basically planning on cutting it in half. They want to move fairly quickly on this, but there's some dirt movement and some other things, so optimistically that probably will be happening this fall. Jackson Oil, back to them. They called me after the rezoning, after the denial, and said, hey, where else can we look? And actually gave me some more details as to why they were interested in the Pyrotech building. Basically, they need to have that building to satisfy, what is it, exchange?
Oh, 1031.
Thank you. I was thinking 401, and that's retirement. So that was that we didn't know. I didn't know, at least. So that helps explain why they're prompting, why they were really looking for something that wasn't quite as good of a fit as what they might otherwise be, and why they're not looking at building, even though building would probably be optimal. They want something to be able to qualify for that. So we do have one or two other properties I directed them to, and I'm sure they've talked to you as well. So they're not totally out of the picture, just not that location.
Yeah, it just seems like the vacant lot at Rail Connect just makes so much more sense for them.
Yep, and I gave them the contact info I had for them, or maybe I just directed them to you.
That's fine, yeah.
And said, hey, this is perhaps a better fit. Gateway Industrial Park also has a couple, one site at least, which may be a little small, but definitely a good fit there. Which is actually being looked at as well, same site is being looked at by Smith, what used to be Smith Brothers Towing. They're looking for sites as well. And so Gateway's also on their radar. So city's looking at working with them to redevelop where Smith Brothers has been. Oh geez, lots of stuff going on. I'm sure I'm forgetting things though.
Maybe you and I ought to take a trip to Fort Wayne. Because there's some issues with Jackson Oil
Okay.
that I think where they're at right now, that a lot of the property owners around them are not very happy.
Okay.
They don't take care of things like they should, and I've had several people call me on that they've heard that their name got out. So
Okay.
Yeah.
before we get too involved with them, I think I would like you to take a trip.
Well, okay. We'll do. Yeah. They're over by St. Francis.
Yes,
Mhm.
out in there.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
I guess the other thing too, just a reminder that these are videoed, and we actually do have people watching the YouTube videos. I've had people contact us about comments, about things that have been said at the Redevelopment Commission meetings, positive and negative. So just keep in mind that this is still streamed, so.
I didn't use any bad words, did I?
Who was it? Was it?
Because Mike always kicks me under the table.
Legs still sore?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They were neither, the good comments were good and the negative comments weren't really particularly negative. It was just a comment, so.
Okay, people are watching.
Yeah.
I know, that's the positive thing. We're being transparent.
Okay, we'll move on to claims. None?
Nothing.
Let's move back to 100 South. Has he got back with you, Brent?
He did. He says, no, they haven't done it yet. So, it would still need to be leveled, which the $15,000 included leveling, but they have not done it.
So do we want to put them on hold and put the money towards the reconstruction of the new road, basically? Put in a new road? Or
Yeah.
just,
I mean, I think if they could just move it down the list to, maybe later and give us the 2 weeks to kind of look at it and see how bad it is now versus wait until next spring, then I'd rather give them the commitment to do the whole thing.
John's gonna go out, drive around.
Well,
I am gonna
tell
go.
us.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
make a plea, and as will I, that we go out and take a look at it,
Mhm.
especially if, you know, if it's a deterrent to people going into the Rogers Park.
Right, right.
Frank, how you feel about it?
I'd like to take a look at it
Okay.
and see where it's at right now.
You okay with that, Teresa?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what we'll do. We'll put it on hold for a couple of weeks, and if everybody gets a chance to drive out there and take a look at it, then maybe at our next meeting, we can decide what we're gonna do. Okay, we got a couple minutes that we need to approve previous. We have July the 15th and July the 29th. Everybody had a chance to look over them. I know we don't get them very quick, but
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the July 29th meeting minutes as presented.
Second?
okay. You have the July 29th and the 15th.
I can add the 15th if you want to do
Aye.
them all together. Yeah, I'll go ahead and include that in my motion of
Okay.
July 15th meeting.
Okay. There's a
Second.
first, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor, raise your right hand. All them opposed, the same. Let it show that it passed. Okay. Anybody in the audience have anything they'd like to bring up or talk to Dell about? Okay, we'll move on. And I do want to thank the high school again for coming and giving time to us. It's really, really good that you do that. Mike,
I have
anything?
Nothing.
John?
Nope.
Teresa?
No.
Frank?
No, sir?
I have nothing. Nathan?
Nothing more.
Brent? Brad? Tiffany? Okay, we stand adjourned.